Welcome back to Füssen in Germany. Fussen's located in the south of Bavaria, very close to the Austrian border. And in case you're wondering, that's the castle from the Disney films.
It's based on that anyway, that's for sure. That was there first, I believe.
But we are at the BLZ Arena for the action today. The second draw of the day. Of course, the men were going at it at 8 o'clock this morning, and our featured game is the women's second draw. Our featured game will be between Japan and Italy. Neither team with a win on the board so far, but Japan haven't played yet. Italy suffering a loss to Latvia to start their campaign to qualify for the Olympics. So here's the team lineups. Michiko Tomabechi playing lead. Kaho Onodera playing second. Yumie Funayama playing third. And Ayumi Fugasawara, the Japanese skip. You impressed, Mike?
That was impressive, actually.
And the Italians, Ariana Lozano playing lead. Martina Broncino playing second. Third player, Elisa Patono. And then, of course, the skip, Veronica Zappone. And here's the standings after the first draw last night. China, Czech Republic and Latvia all getting off to a winning start. Japan haven't played yet. This will be their first game. Germany, Italy and Norway falling in their first draw last night. Just the 7 teams in the women's competition in contrast to the 8 in the men's. And elsewhere on the ice, Germany and the Czech Republic on sheet A, and Latvia and Norway on sheet C. China have a bye in this draw. Well, the teams are just making their final preparations before we get the play underway. Japan will be throwing the red stones and getting the game started, whereas Italy will be throwing the yellow stones and will, of course, have the all-important last stone advantage in the first end. My name's Logan Gray, and alongside me I have Mike Harris once again. Good morning or good afternoon, Mike.
Feels like morning, but yeah, it is. It's noon here in Germany.
Yeah, treated to a nice lie-in this morning. Okay, so we saw the Japanese men's team going at it right from the start yesterday and being really aggressive. Japanese women choosing to go into the rings and maybe playing a more conventional style to their first game of the tournament.
Right, first time on the ice for the Japanese team, as you mentioned, and you have to give a slight edge to the Italians, but we've got a missed hit here to start. Not really close either. Might see a guard now. Here we go.
Absolutely, a free chance to try and put some pressure on the Italians early on. This isn't the same Japanese team who qualified Japan for this event. Michiko Tomabechi, 33-year-old. Doesn't like 33-year-olds.
Oh, she looks younger.
Of course, it was Fujisawa playing in Riga at the World Women's Championships. This one's just going to run into the rings, but still a nice start to the game for the Japanese lead.
Zappone is giving Ariana a little more ice this time, and I expect she'll throw this a little harder as well. Bad combination on her first one, a little bit light and a little bit tight. Still not throwing this overly hard, though. A very young team. Talked about it a little bit yesterday. Many of them, I think all of them are still eligible for juniors, so only 19 years old. Ariana. That hangs around.
Here's Kaho Onodera. She's 22 years old, played for 9 years. Yeah, the Italians, we saw them for the first time on the international stage just a couple of weeks ago at the European Championships in Füssen, excuse me, in Stavanger in Norway. And otherwise, they've only played in the European Junior Challenge. Played a couple of times in 2011 and 2013. And the lead Ariana has also played in the European, in the Youth Olympic Games in Innsbruck just last year. But here we've got another miss in the same spot. So the Italians just struggling to get that takeout nailed down early on here.
Might want to try the other turn. I'll go with that earlier in the first end. But, you know, again, being experienced, an experienced team will, in the first end, will just throw it harder and make sure on the fresh pebble they get to take the break out of it.
So again, this one just creeps into the rings. I always think that in the first end, until you've really got a grip on the ice conditions, you maybe just want to keep your takeaway a little bit firmer.
This in-turn hit. Well, I'll watch this throughout the game, but you know that's 3 in a row, or 3 out of 4 that they've missed completely. So again, change turns, throw it harder. That's the what they're looking for. So Japanese electing to come into the rings again. This would be a good opportunity to throw a guard, perhaps get a steal set up. They are coming into the top 12 foot though, top 8 foot. So not too far off the shot they called, and we'll expect the Italians to go up and hit that top stone. Need to run one back here.
Yeah, choosing to throw the other handle this time. Bit of a rocky delivery there from Levetti. We've got contact. That was actually Elisa Patono. So that maybe just biting on at the edge of the rings.
It is, and Japanese ignoring that stone. We'll see if that comes back to bite them here. If they do need to throw this out front as a guard. So there's the guard, and they're going to force Italy to change gears here in this first end. So taking quite a bit less ice than Japan had, and on the in-turn side as well for Elisa, 18-year-old.
Yeah, she was playing second stones yesterday. It was Sarah Levetti that was playing third, but she's dropped down to the bench for today's game. And Martina Broncino has come in to throw second stones today.
So switching things up after that loss to Latvia. So not a bad result there from Patono, but still facing shot stone on the button. Japan electing to hit this yellow stone back forefoot and would love to roll out to the edge of the 12-foot maybe, and certainly doesn't want to leave it double.
Here's Ayumi Ogasawara, 35 years old. I actually wouldn't believe it.
Just tight. Got to go to get by your own at the button. And actually, that's perfect. If you could have drawn it up, you would have called it, but that's a little bit risky. But good separation on the two reds. Now watch the sweepers bring this in and just papers their own. And see, the reds now are almost 8 feet apart and no double available for the Italians. And I think importantly, forcing the Italians into, it looks like they're going to play a quiet weight. I don't know if they're playing a freeze or quiet weight tap out here on the wings, but certainly into fresh ice. Another option would be simply go around that center guard, Logan. I think
that might be what they're doing, Mike.
The challenge by playing this turn, however, is that this is the first draw we've seen out on this, but all the Japanese guards and draws were played with the other turn. So ice will be fresh out here. Sweepers would have watched the Japanese stones going down the other side of the sheet and have a better idea for the speed.
Here's Veronica Sapone, the 20-year-old.
They are playing the come around.
Probably just need to get this down to touch the forefoot to lie shot stone, but maybe just found a bit of a fresher path here, Mike.
Well, and that was the problem going with that turn, that in turn, is that the path was so much different than what we've seen this entire end, and now the Italians are in big trouble for two reasons. One, Japan can get into the top of the button, and the second reason is that Zappone's going to have to change turns to follow the Japanese stone down. So it's going to be a guess for her on draw weight again. She does have the option of hitting that stone at the back 8 foot if a good draw is made here and conceding a single point to Japan. But you know, we've had 3 or 4 zeros on the scoreboard here from the Italian team here in this first end, and the Japanese hoping to take advantage with a steal.
Well, that would be a dream start for the Japanese. They did get a little bit of ice time last night. The teams who are sitting out do get a chance just to go for a half-hour practice.
I'm interesting. We're watching the stone come into the rings. I'm watching the Italian front end kind of out as a glance, and they're not paying attention to the speed. They weren't taking stop. They weren't timing anything. So again, just a youthful, an inexperienced team. You know, an experienced team will follow that rock all the way down. They'll have someone on a stopwatch just to get a feel for the weight. But as it turns out, they're going to have a hit available. But you know, I think if I was trying to help out this young Italian team, would be to maybe watch the opponent's rocks go down the sheet, especially in the first end. So tricky shot here for.
Well, that's the Italian coach Bjorn Schroeder, ex-world champion.
I was speaking with Bjorn in Stavanger, and I mentioned it a little bit yesterday in our telecast. This team, the focus for this team actually is that European junior qualification. They would love to get to the World Junior Championships. So this team is getting a wealth of experience here in these 2 events, the Europeans in Stavanger a couple of weeks ago, and now here again in this Olympic qualifier. But big shot here in the first end against 3. She catches a piece of this, there is a potential double. Triple maybe. Did she get 2? Almost. Anyway, got her one. All that was actually throw that a little harder. She would have scored 2 points out of nowhere there. And what a great shot, though, from Zapponi. And the Italians get on the board.
Yeah, just one end played here. And Italy getting out of jail with a nice takeout by Zapponi. Is Italy 1, Japan 0. Okay, so a slightly bizarre first end. Lots of misses, but Italy getting out of there with a score of 1 somehow in the first end.
Well, it would have been actually a real tragedy if she'd actually scored the 2. She'd had to throw that just a fraction harder and would have made a triple for 2 points, but I think Japan would have felt a little, they would have been a little upset if that happened. But as you say, Logan, there was an open hit for 1 as it turned out, and his opponent just made it a little more interesting than we anticipated in that first end. But no harm, no foul.
Yeah, and here's Tomovechi throwing the corner guard. Actually, we're amazed, Mike, to find out just how much press the Japanese teams get. Like, even just for a standard training session, so many reporters and media coming along to watch every single training session that they do.
When I commentated at the World Championships in Amori, Japan, a number of years ago, and we have a mix zone as the athletes come off the ice surface. There's a spot for interviews, and usually there's at a World Championship there's anywhere 15 to 20 reporters perhaps. The Japanese women's team had their own room, a theater-style setup with 200 journalists from across Japan there following the team, and they couldn't go out on the streets of Amori. They were so recognized by all the media coverage in their country, which I think is fantastic for the sport, but really I find really interesting for a country with relatively few curlers.
Yep, curling certainly has captured the Japanese imagination over the last decade. And maybe they can see this Japanese team skip by Ogasawara. Still trying to work that one out, how to pronounce that one, Mike. I'm working on it.
I'll go with that until we figure something else out.
Yeah, maybe they can qualify for Sochi. Certainly made a good positive start in the first end here. And made a nice takeout here to spill both of these yellows from the house.
This is the replay in the first end now. So she's playing the open hit on the 1 top forefoot. Watch that stone at the top of the screen. If that just gets nudged another 3 or 4 inches, it would have been for 2 out of nowhere. And they said this was just an open hit, trying to nose hit that one at the top of the forefoot. And almost got away.
Yeah, sometimes it is tough to know exactly what stone to sweep back there.
Patono was happy to get it out, I think. And anyway, it was fortunate, but the angles were certainly there. Japanese skip wants to be aggressive and go around that corner. That corner guard is so difficult to use, though. You almost have to have a biter on the outside 12-foot to really have it buried completely. So tough draw here.
Yeah, maybe just 6 inches or a stone too wide, that corner guard. Gonna have a bash though and try and get it in a good spot, I'm sure.
I like the theory anyway, going around it, being a little aggressive. That stone out in the 12-foot, really not a threat as far as the steal goes.
Yeah, and I'm sure that having seen the first end, the Japanese are probably thinking we want to get this Italian team playing some more technical shots and we'll get misses.
Or just open hits, I think.
Yeah. Well, this is a really good draw here.
Not bad, but I think if we see it from the front, it's almost completely exposed. So it just shows you the difficulty there. It's at least 3/4 open. So very difficult draw. Pretty good result though, in fact. So Italian second, who missed both of her hits in last end. This is just light, close to the guard already.
All misses on the pro side, and
that's the good news.
Actually rolls into shot position.
Yeah, actually, Italians are lying 2, so the Italians, or excuse me, the Japanese are going to have to play a hit of some sort here, and it's got to be a little disconcerting though for his opponent. You know, having 3 hits now and none made. I like this call better. They were going to hit the back stone. This is they can actually roll in front of shot stone here. Although I don't know that they need to with what we've seen so far from the Italians. Definitely want to stay. They do that.
Well, Japan definitely looking like the stronger takeout team so far, and this is back on that sort of line that they were throwing in the other direction. They were missing on the inside, so
just need to throw more weight, I think, is the challenge here. I don't know if they can, or this looks like a little better throw. Not narrow anyway, and this should curl up for us. There we go.
Maybe just a little bit of an overcorrection from the last end. Rolls out on the other side, and now Japan with a chance to hit and stick and lie to.
Needs to curl as well.
Well, a host of errors so far.
Have been a little messy so far this game. And not heavy. Really light, actually. That's unbelievable. You know, open hit and didn't get it out. He actually hit 3/4 of that stone and didn't get it out of the rings. So, again, very, very inexperienced team, and it's starting to show. Well, it's been showing the entire game so far.
Kept the shooter in this time, though. Mike.
That's again. There's the good news. Ever the optimist, Logan, you are. That's good, but surprising. Japanese 3 sweepers on this. They need to get a biter. Sweepers love when the skip taps in front of the broom like that. They just love that. It's like, get it here, get it here. Well done. Excellent sweeping there from the Japanese front end.
Yeah, Japan lying 2 now.
See, Tomobechi breathing hard. Pretty good cardio workout, going those draws end to end. I've heard. I've not actually had to do it myself, Logan, but you would know as well.
Yeah.
From the tee line back, I'm one of the best, but
that's what they say anyway.
yeah, that's what I hear. So Zapponi needs to hit and stay here, and that little biter up at the top corner may prove to be come into play here. If the Japanese team happens to roll out on one of their hits, you may see Zapponi force Japan to score one here in the second end. So.
Okay, so Zapponi trying to make a hit and stick on this back one.
She does throw more weight than the rest of her team does. Just needs to curl a bit. Will it get out?
Well,
I
could see her at the other end of the ice trying to steer that one with her body, but it doesn't come down quite enough.
The other thing I just noticed with this young team on the front end is if you watch the sweepers, they cleaned that rock the entire way down the sheet, right up until contact. And that rock had to curl another inch and would have been fine. So again, if it's going wide, it's going to miss. Don't sweep it. You know, it's pretty simple. Sweeping actually will keep that rock. Even just dusting it lightly will may make the difference. Certainly in that case, I would say it completely made the difference of getting that stone out of the rings. So youthful exuberance, cleaning the stone all the way down, but it also in that case certainly hurt the result from the Italian skip. And again, if you're in the house, you just tell your sweepers to get off the rock. Tell them to stop sweeping entirely.
Well, I assume Japan have looked at who's lying second shot at the moment.
Yeah, it looks clearly lying 2 right now. So great opportunity here for Japan to sit and lie 3 or to draw in. Just want to get this anywhere in the rings, really. They're trying to be very precise with this, getting right to the back 12, but I think right on the tee line is also pretty good. Lovely shot. Good sweeping again. Front end's getting workout. There you go.
Yep, good teamwork to get that one down there. And be another takeout attempt here for the Italians. Made a very shaky start to this game.
We'll see. We saw the Italians get a really good break in the first end. The good break here for Zapponi would be to hit and roll either in front of the stone at the back 12 on the left or behind that guard. She's called. She wasn't very specific with her call, just an open hit. So they're hoping to roll one way or the other. I'm trying to let it curl, but doesn't move enough, and this will be an open hit for 3 points. I like her chances of making this.
Yeah, just a controlled weight required here. I've seen a couple of takeouts come down here from the Italians.
You can't underthrow this. I mean, if we've seen it a few times already. If you underthrow it, it will curl. Clean, universal. It's a universal call, and good execution there from the Japanese in this end, and they're good. Oh, she just kicked. Did you see another? We have another kick on that yellow stone, and if the Italians wanted to measure for 3, it's now only going to be 2 points for the Japanese. So a few football moves. First couple of matches.
Yeah, we saw the same from
German second, right?
Nicole Muskatevitz kicking a stone away before it got measured, and bit of a rookie error, really.
And it is they did say it's only 2. So you see that yellow stone at the top and the red at the back. They are very close. You can see a little bit of white between the two of them, and there's the kick. And the non-offending team is the one who gets the benefit, and as a result, it's only 2 points here for Japan in the second end.
2 ends played. Japan 2, Italy 1. Well, could that be a significant mistake for the Japanese, kicking a stone away before the opposition third gets to look at it? And they only put 2 on the board instead of what looked like it must have been 3. But Japan certainly looking like the stronger team so far, Mike.
I would say technically they've made. I mean, they're making more shots. They're throwing, more cleanly. But we didn't really talk too much about it yesterday. But as you mentioned, Nicole, we had that rock was kicked, and that turned out to be a 1 point extra for the Chinese team, and 1 point game at the end of the day. So inevitably, those types of things do come back. But you change your strategy, of course, relative to the scoreboard. But you don't. It's difficult enough to score multiple points in these events, and when you hate to kick rocks away. So unfortunate mistake for the Japanese, but they'll try to bounce back. And just as it happened, I was watching the skipper Ayumi. She kind of tapped her team on the back on the way down the sheet. Said, "Okay, let's go get them. We got our 2 points." And she again pretty positive. And this team has much more experience too than the Italian team. So hopefully they can put that quickly behind them. I always said a good skip has a short memory. For many reasons, if you missing your draws or made shots and that type of thing, so you need to be able to move on pretty quickly.
Yeah, and you mentioned Ayumi Ogasawara. She has played in 2 Olympic Games before. She's played in 2002 and 2006 in Salt Lake City and Torino. And she came 8th and 7th. Italy trying to move these reds around a little bit.
It's a good shot. Stayed for shot stone, will force Japan into playing a hit. And I talked a little bit about it yesterday. There's Fujimiki. Fuji's son, Brian, is a world champion with Greg McCauley back in 2000. And he's a resident of Vancouver, Canadian. Obviously, Japanese descent, and I know he speaks the language and has been coaching this team for with the Japanese Association for a few years now. Really nice man, very nice man.
So here's Onodera with a takeout on the wing, makes the hit and stick. And the Japanese look far more convincing in their takeout play. But Italy going to try and play to their strengths here and try and get the drawing game going around this corner guard that they laid with their first stone of the end. Okay, so this one's got some rearing up to do. And I think Japanese skips can have a go at this one and sees it right through the rings. Another mistake by the Italians. Meanwhile, next door on sheet A, here's Andrea Schopp. with her final stone of the second end. Germany losing out to China last night. Czech Republic defeating Norway. First end was blanked, and here's the smallest front end in the competition, I would say.
It's a draw for 2 from Andrea.
Certainly between Germany and the Japanese. But that one's going to come up short, and it will only be a score 1. Not really even close there from Andrea.
Interesting, she was yelling no. It must have been for line. The front end ignored her, however, and just kept going, which was the right thing to do. But a missed opportunity there for Shop in the second end.
So meanwhile, in our featured game, Japan peeled the corner guard. Always a little bit of a risk going around the corner guard when you don't have the last stone, Mike.
Very much. Well, they do have the last stone, which is good for them, I would say. But
I mean, the Japanese when they peeled it.
Oh, they peeled it? Oh, yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Gotcha. I'm slow. It's early in the game here.
Well,
we're working
to
together. You're referring to the Japanese team in that. No, I like the call from the Italians going around the corner guard. I was a little, I'm not sure what they were playing there. If that was a guard, it's obviously 10 or 15 feet too heavy. So they're going to be forced into playing some sort of freeze here or tap back on their next one.
The Japanese are certainly throwing a much more positive strike weight than the Italians, and seems to be working well for them. That's another good hit and stick.
I think it's important for them to realize that if they keep things simple here, technically they'll have a bit of an advantage here over this young Italian team. So there's no need to really mix it up too much. Keep a couple of their own stones in the rings in play and see how well they do. So freeze called here. Toughest shot in curling. Line has to be perfect and the weight.
Yeah, wide open as well. No guards to make it a little bit easier on them.
And this is about perfect. Wow.
Brava, bravissima.
I think that means great shot. Bravissima. I like it. What a fantastic freeze.
Yeah, not an easy one to get out either. Really nice camera shot there as the stone comes down the ice. And doesn't manage to spring it off, but does push it over behind that red stone, and
perfect.
It's a pretty good result. So the Italians not scared to leave a few stones lying around.
So see if two freezes in a row can be made here from Patono. Don't want to bounce off the red, so again, love to have just stayed up against that red stone. So left the double takeout now for the Japanese, right on the nose. They've played this shot already once this end, so they'll have a good idea of the ice. Ice read. There you go. It's indication.
I don't think we'll see too much messing about with the weight here. So it'll be Good solid takeout weight here from Ogasawara.
It's tight to the center line. Gonna have to go. They go for a piece.
Well, does enough to get rid of one of the yellow stones, but doesn't manage to stay in shot position either, and that's a nice stone for Italy to come up against now.
Well, I think you made a good point saying the Italians playing to their strength here with the draw game, and we've seen evidence of that here in this third end. A lot of nice, good quality draw shots made so far. Another opportunity to play a freeze right down to that stone at the back. 12-foot on the left side of center, and she'll have a shot for 2 on her last. The Japanese will be forced to hit the open stone on the left, the yellow stone that we see in the rings, and Zapponi will have a draw for a hit for 2, excuse me, one or the other. She's talking T-line. I think you just take it right back to that stone, don't you, Logan? And there's no double available for her. Unless she's concerned that Japan will play a freeze, but I can't imagine they would.
Well, I don't think they want to leave a double takeout here.
Right.
Mike, we just saw the way that the Japanese skip can throw. Well, they can just sweep this one right down onto that back one.
Probably going to curl past it at this point, but again, if the weight's good, it doesn't matter. Will it curl by? So Japanese should sweep that, I think.
Somebody should sweep it anyway. The Italians probably should have been sweeping it as well to try and get it onto the nose.
A little mistake there from, I thought the Japanese third should have gotten in there and started sweeping. Chose not to. They only had to get it another couple of centimeters. Japan may be lying second shot on the left side as well, beside that yellow stone. I'm having a look. I would say they're second on the stone that's underneath the broom. Even a nose hit will be a very difficult double for the Italians. They don't want to. Japan does not want to roll slightly to the right and key up a freeze and leave an easy double. But if they can hit this dead on the nose, it's actually a very difficult double for Italy to score 2. So again, we talked about it over and over already, but inexperience. So the sweepers, if they're communicating to the person in the house, the Italians, that the rock's a little heavy, they could have swept that all the way and made the freeze. They got caught in between there. And do not want to hit this and roll to the outside. It's a really good shot, and I said the double's actually very makeable, but to save the shooter is quite difficult. You likely the double's made and the shooter will continue to spin towards the outside. We'll see if Zapponi tries to even attempt. She doesn't need to attempt. She can just play a simple nose hit and take her 1.
Yeah, well, that being said, Mike, I think the Japanese, you feel well too that they were lying too. The Italians are struggling to make single takeouts, never mind make a double takeout and stick it.
Absolutely. Well, in theory, they could actually hit a quarter of the stone on the center line side and have their shooter come over into that red stone at the back 12 as well. There'd be a lucky deuce, but again, the Italians need to maintain their focus here and make sure they score the single point. Looking like they're playing the thin double. If they do attempt this, the risk here is, of course, they hit half a rock. They could roll right in front or across the top of that red stone and give up a steal. And certainly the shooter will be spinning towards the right side as we're looking at it.
No, I'm slightly confused because they've got the brush on the right-hand side of the stone, but they're looking at what side of the, how much of the left-hand side of the stone they need to hit it. So
we'll see what happens when it comes down.
Just close your eyes and throw it hard.
Either way, it's going to be very difficult to score 2. So I think the prudent call here is just to take their single and And again, Zapponi does throw more weight than the rest of her team does. And there is the danger. She did nudge the red and move it slightly. So we'll see what ends up happening here.
Well, I think we might need a measure here. Hopefully we don't see any stones kicked.
I was just thinking that.
Okay, everyone get away from the house. Step away from the stones, people. We'll get a measure.
It looks, I'd guess, red.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's out. There we go. So we'll measure on those 2 stones that are left. I traditionally am wrong on predicting measure calls, by the way, Logan. In 14 years of doing this, I think I've got 2 or 3 right. So.
Well, I think if I was a skip of either team, I would just be telling all my players to step out of the field of play right now.
Yes.
I'll say my bit here, but this is one of my pet peeves in curling is that the officials do the measuring, because as we've seen, if a stone gets kicked by the non-offending player, we know where the measure goes. It goes to the other team. If an official kicks the rock, however, then we've got a real problem on our hands. So I won't say it again, but that's my own personal view on officials measuring stones. But
well, we're going the long way around the house. I think you'll see a lot of umpires measure the red stone first here. You always do take the measure clockwise. I would love to tell you who this umpire is, but it's not as easy as the women.
They want to do it again.
As the women's umpire, because she's the only women umpire.
Well, the Japanese team doesn't like the call here with the measuring device. We didn't really see how far the dial moved.
It doesn't really seem to touch that red stone. One more time, guys.
Let's try it from the red stone first this time.
Well, the
see
umpire
if we can see the dial here, because she's not convinced, and it's within her rights to.
Yeah, the umpire just moving the needle a little bit, just to get a slightly different reading on it.
And my record stays intact. I predicted red, it's yellow. So the Italians do win. That's win the measure, and they will tie this game up 2-2.
Yeah, Italy just with the roll did rob that Japanese stone and does enough to score here in the third end. 3 ends played, and it's a tie game. Japan 2, Italy 2. Okay, so tied game here. If you have just joined us, welcome to the World Curling Federation Olympic qualification event. Coming to you live from the BLZ Arena in Füssen, Germany. This is the 4th end of our featured game between Japan and Italy, the women's second draw. And my name is Logan Gray. I'm joined by 1998 Olympic silver medalist Mike Harris. Sorry.
And a fan of thirds measuring their own rocks. That's my claim to fame.
Well, after a few measures, once again, we're seeing the umpires getting a lot of airtime this week so far.
Well, it's unusual that they would have to go around 3 times, and but anyway, but the players are entitled to that right. They are able to ask for a measure again. Just didn't like the result. That's all. The Japanese third. Which is fair.
Yeah, that measure did more than 361 degrees a few times there as well.
It So far in this game, we've really seen Japan make a lot more shots than we've seen the Italians make, but the scoreboard certainly does not reflect that. And if you're the coach of the Italian team, you have to be, take some comfort in that, knowing that our team's not at their best right now, but we're still tied in this game. And if you're the Japanese coach, what you have to do is to say, what, let's continue to be patient, and our better shot making should benefit us here at some point. But we've had all kinds of interesting things happen so far. Again, a lucky shot from Zapponi in the first hand, a kick rock in the second from Team Japan could have resulted in a 3-point swing there, and then a multiple measure here in the third. So never a dull moment in this match.
No, absolutely, Mike. But from the Japanese point of view, I think they've got to feel pretty confident at the moment. They've never really been under a huge amount of pressure.
No, but if you're Italy, you're thinking, okay, we haven't done anything here yet, and we're still tied. So once they do start kind of getting their feet under them, they've got to feel pretty good as well. So, but
Tomabeci just looked like
important for Japan to be patient.
Yeah, I think the Japanese lead just got that takeout started a little bit, over curls and rolls it out of the rings. Meanwhile, sheet A, here's Anna Kubeshkova throwing her final stone of the third end.
It's like a hit through the port there. Really tough to stay on this one. You see the turn that she took is going across the face. Looked like the out turn may have been easier for her, but anyway, that was a tough point to score regardless, and steal a 1 there for Schupp.
3 ends played there between Germany and the Czech Republic, and it's 2-0 Germany. So the Japanese skip just showing the angles with her brush on these 2 stones to the Japanese second player. So Japan are just going to try and clear the center line a little bit, but at some point expect them to go around that corner guard, which is in probably a slightly better position than the last time they came this way and managed to score 2 with the corner.
Wanted to hit the other stone first. Try to make that double, so not a bad result, but hoping to have that stone curl a bit more. Martina struggling today. Those are all hit numbers. Three open misses in the first 3 ends, and the others weren't so good either, with judging by that number. So moving that stone to the back of the rings, that gives them the opportunity now, Logan, as you mentioned, going around that corner guard.
Well, the crazy thing about that shot is it probably actually raised her stats a little bit.
25% on that one, that's right.
So here's Onodera playing a very solid 79%.
I think we'll see up and down the line here. The Japanese, as said, they've been playing more consistently, certainly, than the Italians have, but unfortunately the results, that doesn't matter. It's the numbers on the scoreboard that count. And it's 2-2 here through 3 ends. Another good come around here. That's perfect. That's dead buried and well swept again. Good look at that. Perfect come around. Italians changing gears again. I think a lot of teams this early in the end might just step up and try to run back, but I think going and sticking with their strength, the draw game.
Here's Elisa Patono playing 63% for the tournament.
A couple of nice shots last time, especially. Perfect freeze, nice draw.
Okay, so just trying to lie to here, really. I need to be a little bit careful with the sweep in here. And
perfect, I think.
Probably Lai's second shot.
Yeah, that's good. It's really quite good, actually.
Is it good, Mike?
I think at the end of the day, you know, again, it's come down like the sweepers have to realize, you know, we have to stay in the 12, but they kept sweeping that right to almost where it stopped, which is, you know, no need to get that much risk involved here, but
getting a good look at here as the stone curling toward the guards. I think she maybe just got that one started a little bit. It's curling right from her hand. Doesn't quite have the running either.
It's light, actually. Yeah, that's more the issue than anything. Just that took 10 feet off that, and now all of a sudden Italy can draw to lie 3. And this is the first real opportunity, as I say, to apply some pressure to the Japanese team. Elisa's said she's made 3 good draws in a row here, so expect her to be close for weight. The line looks great here. Perfect line. Wonderful shot again. Probably a foot too deep, but they had to go for line.
Yeah, but for the first time, Italy asking some questions of the Japanese. And here's Yumie Funayama, playing 61% for the tournament. Of course, these tournament numbers for Japan, they're just their stats for this game. They had their bye last night, and this is their first game of this Olympic qualification.
We've got to go for line here.
Well, wrecks the guard and
rolls for a center as well, which isn't great. Opens up that yellow stone a little though, which isn't too bad.
Well, I think what we're seeing here is that the Italians are clearly the better drawing team than the Japanese, but the Japanese are the better takeout team.
Well, the Italians are certainly better at drawing than they are playing hits themselves. I know that much. We haven't really seen, you know, Japan hasn't been forced really to play too many draws, but skipper Ogasawara, she's going to have to make a draw here in this end, I think. And they said it's the first real test we've seen for her.
Sei tanto esterna, quindi ti direi un 70. Ok, forse se potete aspettate la linea.
And I would venture a guess too with the Italian team, as the ice you know, evens out and breaks down, gets a little quicker across the sheet, their hitting will improve slightly. Just in that fresh pebble, they were just missing some hits really badly. When the ice was a little heavier, they don't throw as much weight as the Japanese do, for sure.
Well, Zappone playing 59% for the tournament.
Yeah, she was 61 yesterday, so she's staying around that 60% number. Probably a little lower today, 57, 58% perhaps today. This is heavy. It's very heavy, actually.
Well, that was a great chance there for the Italian skip to really turn up the heat on Japan. And now Japan can try and draw their way out of trouble here.
Well, I like the theory here of going around the center guard. You know, very aggressive call. It's a much easier call to go to that yellow stone in the wings. See, the corner guard is there. There's backing. They've thrown it a few times. You know, the draw to the wings to draw down to that stone on the left-hand side is a very a shot we've seen several times already this end. This is a difficult shot in the sense that we haven't really seen it made. That was the first attempt we saw there from the Italians. It was heavy, but big test here for the Japanese skip here in the fourth end.
Yep, Ogasawara playing 75%.
Looking for 14 plus here from the split time. So 13-7, a little warm, probably behind the tee line. Will it stop is the question. Does, goes back 4. Good news is all those, kind of taking those other 3 yellows out of play. Bad news is it's behind the tee line, so. Pretty good result though for the Japanese skip. First pressure shot we've seen her face. So his opponent just threw this on her first. Expect her to be a little closer this time. If the weight's good, the line is really nice here. Pretty good shot there. Really nice shot there from Zappone. Very good. Right on the tee line. Partially buried. Japanese team looking at hitting this thin and keeping the shooter on the outside. That is extremely dangerous. The smart shot is just to play the exact same shot she called. High risk here. She just needs to follow this down, tap it back a foot or so, and keep her shooter. Same weight she just threw would be good. And actually, if the line comes a little closer to the guard, she could actually cross the face and potentially score 2. It'd be very, very tough to do. But they can't afford to play any type of weight here and risk removing their own stone. She's taken much less ice than she just had, however. Looks like she's playing backline weight, which, you know, again, hit half a rock here with overthrow this ever so slightly. You could give up a steal of multiple points here. Very, very dangerous. I think I'd take the same ice as the draw that I just threw and take my chances.
So let's see how this one works out for Ayumi. I think I'm just going to call her Ayumi from now on.
Call. I like that. There's a good look at it. She cannot see very much of this. Just back 8 foot weight. She needs more ice if she wants to make the shot. Cannot afford to overthrow this. Give it to the sweepers. Let them take it most of the way down.
Immediately down with the brushes here. Final stone of this fourth end. And it's not an easy one.
That's on the guard. So, well, probably Italian's best end of the game so far, and it's going to result in a steal.
Yeah, much more like it from the Italians. With a little bit of help from the Japanese probably as well. But can you believe it? Italy leading after 4 ends now. Italy 3, Japan 2.
Non so cosa è il braccio.
Well, it's been an entertaining game so far. And Italy sneaking it after 4 ends. I think the Japanese will be able to quite believe that they're not leading this game, but a really good 4th end from the Italians. And maybe just a shift in the tide a little bit here.
Certainly a little bit. I think it's important for Japan just to stay patient and continue to try to do what they've been doing and being consistent and making shots. But the Italians, I think they've kind of found their legs now. It won't be as easy as it was the first 3 ends, and got a better handle on draw weight. The ice is now a little more broken in terms of speed, so the Italians their hitting will improve when the ice is a little quicker. And there's a mistake there from Team Japan, and coming through the rings here in the 5th end. So again, need to stay patient, and I think I'd still try to keep it simple if I was Team Japan. You get more rocks in play. We saw that last end, pretty messy situation there, and the Italians, that's their strength. They loved having all those rocks in play. Nice come around. That'll stay in the free guard zone. So double center guard for the Italians here, starting the 5th. Good start. The line's nice here. It's heavy again. It needs to sit. And see the Japanese skip realizing it's behind the tee line, get away back out of the way. And the worst spot for a come around is a couple of inches behind the tee line where the opponents can freeze on that stone and you have no chance to score. So if you're sweeping these rocks at home, you need to realize that.
Well, I'd actually quite like to see Italy playing the draw here and continuing to apply the pressure, the kind of pressure they applied in the 4th end to the Japanese.
Well, part of being a good skip is also anticipating what your opponents are going to play, and I think it's pretty much a given that Japan will go around those guards again, regardless of what happens here. Nice shot. And here we go. It's part of the beauty of the sport, is trying to guess what your opponents are going to play next. Good communication from the front end. There's a good result for Team Japan.
Well, it does drift past the tee line, and now it's really a race around these 2 center guards. The first team who can get one in front of the tee line in shot position is going to be in good shape here.
Absolutely. That is much wider for line than the Japanese come-arounds, and it's not light either. So Broncino continuing to struggle here through 5 ends. So as you say, Logan, this come-around needs to be top 4 foot. You saw the Japanese skip indicate shorts. Okay, the reason it's not okay is that the other side, the right side of the sheet there as we're looking at it, is available for the Italians. So this really, I think, if you're going to miss, I think a freeze to your own red would be the preferred shot, but they have to get into position to say top 4 foot buried is perfect.
Well, looking pretty good this time.
It does look really good. Set top 4 foot, front of the tee line. Perfect. And you know, it's been a while since we've seen a shot made exactly the way it's been called here. You know, the freeze in the third end was one that reminded me, but that was a good, perfect result for Team Japan, and really difficult situation now here for Italy.
They might still be able to freeze that red stone and still lie in second shot position, but
absolutely, yeah. Either
no
you
guarantee.
can freeze to the top, freeze to the back one of the two. But actually, freezing to the top is the one on that was just thrown is a pretty good result. It tightens up the scoring area for the Japanese. So difficult to score 2 points. She's going wide she's trying to freeze to this back red stone on this turn. This is, again, difficult in this, that you're going out wide. It's difficult that you're changing turns.
Yeah, this is a tough shot.
It was a big ask, for sure.
Well, that one just runs a little too far. And Japan now with a great chance to get a multiple score here.
Going open, I think you just go right back on top again, don't you? And just, you could get 4, perhaps. It's so difficult to go wide. There's not a lot of room there either, so.
Yeah, it's not easy to put this stone on the wing in a position where you're not setting up a double onto that back red, so.
Yeah, this is a little surprising, and you could make a mistake, leave it on the top 8 foot and leave a hit and roll under. Good news is you will probably force Italy into playing a hit of some sort, but I think it was a golden opportunity to go around that center guard again. Definitely want this. Now you do want this stone back behind the tee line. You don't want to leave a double opportunity on the top 2 stones. Got to keep going. Don't want to let. That's actually a perfect. Could not have placed that any better. Ideal shot.
Yeah, Italy sensing danger here. And maybe a little bit of damage limitation required. Here's Latvia and Norway on sheet C. Final stone from Marianne Rurvik, the Norwegian skip. Trailing Latvia by 2 shots to 1, and they do have a chance to score a deuce here. Will it get by that yellow? It will do, and just squeezes the other red to the side. A double takeout from Marianne Rurvik, and a score of 2 for Norway.
Great shot, actually.
5 ends played, and Norway just sticking their nose ahead of Latvia, 3 shots to 2.
And back on our sheet, see a lovely roll into the back of the 4 foot made by the Italians. Still not out of trouble yet, however. That stone, although Japan lies 3, actually helps the Italians out a little. Option to just tap that stone back a little bit, or perhaps hit and roll underneath. So this is a key shot here coming up for the Italian skip. Chance to really bail their team out of trouble and dodge another bullet here versus the Japanese. It's been 3 of the 4 ends anyway have been all Team Japan. This 5th end rather has again been controlled by the Japanese.
Well, this is a kind of risk and reward situation. I think So the way I would see the shot is to come down and try and freeze that red, or even just bump it a little bit. It's always a little bit scary to do that when you don't have the last stone. You're facing 3 opposition stones.
Regardless of what the call is, she has to make. This is one of these shots. Sometimes you just have to make your shot, and this is one of those where she needs to roll underneath. Plan B, if this hangs a little bit, she may sweep it. Might be able to kind of move that other stone off the back of the forefoot, but again, just a disastrous result though from the Italian team. And now, if you're Team Japan, what do you do? Part of the beauty of skipping. What shot gets the Italians out of trouble right now? And I think the freeze to that top stone will cut Japan down to 2. That's the one that if you throw a rock right there, if you're Team Italy, all of a sudden most you can score is 2 if you're Japan. So I think you want to take that shot away from the Italian team. Play the freeze yourself, and you're likely going to score at least 3 or have a shot for 3 regardless. Going open doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. That to me is the shot. They're thinking about it anyway. That's good news.
Yeah, even if they can put this in a usable position, they don't have to make the freeze perfect. But they need something in a position that they can combat the freeze, even if they can't prevent it.
Right, they're going open, and again, if you're a skip, thinking about what's going to happen next, rather than your own shot, you have to anticipate that the Italians are going to freeze. Line 4, giving up 3 is no good to the Italians either, so line 4, I anticipate the Italians will play the freeze. I mean, again, I've been wrong before already, several times in this game already, Logan. In fact, I've been wrong, but I think you know, the shot that gets the Italians out of trouble is the freeze on that stone that's buried at the top forefoot.
Well, Mike, although you've been wrong a lot so far in this game, I don't think you should let it affect your confidence.
It doesn't. That's okay. I continue to plug on. You know, it's not never stopped me before.
Well, they found a pretty good spot for this draw the last time.
Yeah, I mean, this is the perfect result. Again, the execution, without question, has been there for Japan. A little deep, in fact, so they're going to lie 3, but the execution's been really good. I don't know that coming short or deep there really makes a difference. The question is what will Italy play now?
Well, they certainly would have liked to lie 4 there. I think that was just slipped.
I think their 5th shot now, actually. Yeah, that yellow stone at the back in the middle is second. So she's going to come freeze. Also good.
Di qua poi se io vengo di qua almeno ho un po' di cosa su cui atterrare. Invece comunque se ti appoggi su quella ne hanno 2. Sì.
My Italian isn't very good, but I think they're playing the shot. They said if it overcurls, it can freeze the top one. If we're trying to freeze the back one, is also fine. The danger here is trying to freeze the back one. If she does happen to move the red at the back of the 8-foot, slightly to the left and rolls open, she will leave a double, in fact, for 5 points here to the Japanese team. So Zapponi played a beautiful draw last end, got her out of trouble, resulted in a steal. She needs one here in end number 5. So got the clock on this one again. We're looking for around 14 seconds. Hog to hog. 13-3. So that'll get up. That's in the ballpark. Just rolls off. And there is a shot there now for 4 points. Stone rolls open. Difficult shot for 4. Has to get across the face. We'll see this on the front end and go, there's a good look at it. So they have to get by that yellow guard by an inch or 2 with quiet weight, and should push that stone past their own at the back 8-foot and score 4 points.
See an example in the background there of the Japanese media we were talking about.
This is a tough shot. Nose hit will probably only, they may score 3 as well. They've got to watch if that kicks their own stone out at the back. But this is the opportunity that this Japanese skip's been looking for all game. They've had multiple chances and really haven't taken advantage yet.
So Ogasawara needing to keep calm here and convert this opportunity. Maybe they can chip it across the top of that back red. Oh, and locked it up.
Disappointing result here for Team Japan here in the 5th end. Just a single point. And through 5, we're tied.
Yeah, definitely a disappointing climax to that 5th end. And it's just a score of 1 for Japan and what looked like it was going to be an extremely fruitful end. But 5 ends played. It's Japan 3, Italy 3.
And here's some highlights from our match and first end. Italian skip Zappone hitting against 3. Looking for the nose hit, in fact, but look at the shooter, goes over, gets caught on the wings, and almost scores a deuce out of nowhere, but it was a score of 1 for the Italians in the first end. In the second end, this was a hit for a potential 3 points for the Japanese skip. Ogasawara. Hit is made, but watch the Japanese second just goes over and kicks that yellow stone in no measure. Ended up with only a deuce. And after an Italian steal in the 4th end, Japanese down 1 here playing 5. Got a hit for 3 or 4 points potentially. Japanese skip is wide, jams that stone and only gets a single point to tie things up through 5 ends. We'll update Germany and Czech Republic. Andrea Schupp. Last stone in the 5th. This game's tied at 2. This is pretty much an impossible come around. I see that yellow Czech stone right on the button. There's no way to get this out. This is just an attempt to get some draw weight here for Andrea, and makes it perfectly, but the Czechs will steal 1 to go up 3-2. And in our other match, Norway leads Latvia as they play the 6th. Coach Fujimiki with some words of advice for his team. Again, they have to think they've been dominating statistically in this game, but certainly not on the scoreboard, which is the important result.
We're playing well. We just need to find draw weight. If we focus on getting draw weight,
take out too fast.
Yeah, sometimes.
Someone else to
Yeah, it's a difference, you know.
Interesting conversation. The Japanese think they need to get draw weight, and the Italians think they need to improve their takeouts, and they're both right.
Watch the
And here's our statistics. And look at the Italian overall, 39%. And it's a tie game. Hard to believe when you look at the numbers that the Japanese almost double in percentage. I've never actually seen that big of a discrepancy between two teams, and the score is still tied. Very encouraging for the Italians, and it has to be a little frustrating for Team Japan. And even more surprising, the Italians have the hammer here in 6 as well.
So Mike, in the halftime stats there, we saw a gulf in the statistics between Japan and Italy. 68 playing 39, yet it's still a tied game at halftime. How is that possible?
Well, again, it comes down to some key skip rocks, I think, and we saw two examples of that, fourth end and the fifth end. The Italian skip made a lovely draw in the fourth end to create a steal, and then a missed opportunity from Japanese skip there in the fifth end, and a little good fortune too. I think you look at that that open hit in the first end that Zappone had against 3, and she hits it a little better. He actually hits the top stone thicker. She gives up a steal at 2. As it turned out, she scored 1, and so we always used to say on our team the smoke and mirrors are unpacked here for Team Italy. They got them working well here in this match so far.
Yeah, about making the right shots at the right time, and Japan just not quite managing that. Lozano only playing 36% at lead.
Well, when you see the team at 39, I mean, all four players are getting outplayed badly, top to bottom. So it's quite surprising that this is a tied match. But good news for the Italians. It said it's hard to imagine them, dropping statistically as the rest of this game gets on, and the Japanese team really has to, again, they have to stay patient. That's the big thing, and take advantage. Eventually, you have to take advantage of some of these misses that they've been presented with.
Well, Italy off to a reasonable start here with the last stone. Nothing really on the center line. And 2 in behind the guard. Onodera playing 80% so far today. And makes a run back here to pick that stone off the front of the tee line.
Yeah, great shot.
Well, Broncino's really struggling today. She's actually raised her game to get to 30%.
She was at 18 earlier in the game, that's right, yeah. She made a couple of nice shots the last 2 ends, but yeah, continuing to struggle.
Yeah, still adjusting to this new environment.
It's her first game. She was the alternate yesterday. Better shot, good control, half buried, top front of the tee line.
Well, I think Japan trying to do the right thing here and just keep it reasonably simple. Maybe a little bit guilty of things getting a bit cluttered in the last end. And we've seen Italy really struggle with the takeout so far today.
Might get lucky on the backstone here. They do. So move the guard out of the way and get rid of the stone at the back 12-foot.
Stessa altezza, ragazze! Sì. Come prima va bene.
Another draw being asked for here from Broncino.
Yeah, choosing to go to the open side here. Try and create some good separation between these two yellow stones in the house.
Well done. A couple of nice shots there from Italian second. Here's a lovely hit and roll, potential double. Great shot.
Yeah, super shot there by Yumie Funayama. Rolls over and just pushes it out. So, looks like it's going to be a reasonably quiet sixth end here. Nothing really in play of note. Well, important to stick around there. You don't want to roll out the rings and give Italy a chance to come around that red stone in the top left of your picture there. Technically very sound, the Japanese, Mike.
Yes, and you know, over the last number of years, they're again really well coached.
Anyway, on sheet C, Latvia and Norway. I saw Mariana Urvik play a really nice takeout for 2 in the sixth end to take a one-shot lead on Latvia. And you know these ones pretty well, Mike.
Yeah, Iveta, the skipper. So we talked about it yesterday. She's a really great draw player. Can struggle on occasion with the hits, but nice shot here. And that was a delicate tap back for single point to tie things up through 6. Really well done.
How do you like the Latvian chances this week, Mike?
They're quite good. I mean, they're I said they actually, having a skip who stays calm and can draw the 4-foot under pressure is really important. And you know, we're going to see as the pressure mounts as the week goes on whether that can continue to have. They are. You know, last year at the World Championships in Riga, in their hometown, I know they were quite nervous, but they struggled strategically. In fact, they make a lot of shots, but their strategy needs to be brought up a little bit. So they might struggle against a team like Andrea Schopp. Or you know, or Bingyu Wang, who have more experience.
Well, Italy just went for the freeze there and didn't really get anywhere close.
So Japan needs to stay here. They would love to force Italy into scoring a single point here, put some pressure on. That rolls a couple of inches too far, almost spins back in. But unfortunately.
Well, persevering with this freeze, Mike.
And again, if you're coaching this young Italian team, there's no need to play this kind of risk here in the 6th end. It's skip rocks. You're going to have a better chance to score 2 at some point in this game. This is you know, the unnecessary. If you miss the freeze, you could leave Japan hit to lie 2, and you're forced to score 1. So hit your 1, hit it, hit and stay for 1, and try to blank the next end and take your chances.
Yeah, and there is Björn Schroeder, the Italian coach, watching on. Oh, wealth of experience. He's worked with quite a few teams, actually, including the French men who are also here this week. Saponi playing 40%. I always think as a coach you want to tell your team to play the easy shots and make your opposition play the hard shots as well. This is a tough shot. I mean, a freeze is the hardest shot in curling. And a really good attempt here, but still
over curls, and there is an opportunity here for Japan to lie 2. They can actually use their, watch that red stone over in the wings at the back 12 foot there. She could hit about half a stone here, and her shooter can roll right onto that.
And there's the Japanese coach, Fujimiki.
Just to his left there is JD Lind as well, who's their assistant coach. And JD's actually, there's JD. JD actually coached Charlie Thomas to World Junior Championship a few years ago out of Alberta. So a couple of some Canadian influence there.
Yeah, I contributed to their gold medal that week.
Did you? Oh, that's nice of you. Nice of you.
I seem to remember a horror moment where I just lined up a whole heap of stones for him to beat us in the round robin and put us out.
Trouble here. This is curling. They need to keep this straight. Oh, lovely shot here. Really well done. And there is the risk in playing the freeze, is that a slight error leaves Japan a chance to lie 2. So the Italians with another draw are going to be forced to play the same shot. The good news for Saponi, she just played it, and also she can use the backing and still score her single point. Didn't mean to bring up bad memories there, Logan, about with JD, but
yeah, it's okay.
You've done it to me a couple of times this week already. So.
Well, I don't take it personally against JD though.
It's more Charlie. Is it more Charlie that gets?
Yeah, he played a few shots against us.
So this stone. The line isn't great. If this actually over curls past the one that was just thrown, this could be trouble for Italy. Will it stop in time? Just does, and Saponi scores her single here in the 6th.
Yeah, a little bit of unnecessary risk leading to that force there in the 6th end. Italy score 1 and lead Japan by 4 shots to 3.
Ero larga di cavo, quindi gliene ho data un po' perché ho detto spazio di 40 è un casino. Ho preso 50 qua. 60. No, 60. Mi ha dato un po' di...
Well, Mike, I said that Björn Schroeder had been involved with a few countries, including France, who are playing this week. He's also been involved with the Netherlands, Czech Republic, Germany, and Switzerland. So, getting around a little bit.
Just a gun for hire, that's all he is. No shame in that.
Yeah,
we see that happen quite a bit, actually, out there on the coaching circuit.
Yeah, and Björn actually won the World Championships in 1992 for Switzerland. Throwing lead stones that week.
So Marcus Egler, that year?
Yeah,
nice.
It certainly was.
Yeah, Vic Peters lost semis that year too. I think it was Hammy McMillan beat him in the semis.
Yeah. Good knowledge. Mike?
Got a lot of useless stuff up there in the brain, Logan, you know. Helps me curling commentating, though. Other than that, not much good for anything else.
Well, Hammy lost the final to Björn Schroeder and the Swiss team, skipped by Marcus Egler by 6 shots to 3. And it was Vic Peters who lost the semi-finals.
Hammy made this round the horn triple, I think. Killed, knocked Vic out.
Anyway, here's Andrea Schopp. Final stone of the 6th end. And a chance for a multiple score here. See Muskatevich and Heiss on the brushes. And all quiet from Andrea for once. Must be pretty happy with it.
Must be close, yes. It's a draw for 2.
Super is really going to town for this one. And getting it there. A score of 2 just for Germany. And Germany moving ahead of the Czech Republic. Already, I say that's a pretty important game for Germany. Of course, there is only 6 games in the round robin for each of the teams, and getting off to a 2-loss start would be tough to come back from.
Yeah, short round robin here. It's you know, every game is critical.
Okay, so Japan look pretty content to blank here in the 7th end.
They're certainly not going to take any unnecessary risks. Get a guard here from the Italians. You may see the Japanese go around. But we're already through lead stone, so they do have the opportunity to peel the end out and take the hammer into 8. This coming into the rings will not leave a lot of opportunity here for Japan to do anything but hit.
Do you expect Italy at all to push a little bit harder to try and force one here in the 7th, Mike?
I don't know why they would. It's one of those games, you know, as we've seen, they're being badly outplayed. They're ahead on the scoreboard incredibly, and you know, I think they just, every end that goes in the books is in their favor. You know, conversely, if I'm Japan, I think I would start to try to put some pressure here on the Italians. They're running out of time. You know, I think they probably feel like they should be up 3 or 4 points minimum, and they're down 1 playing 7, and to put another blank on the board just, again, gives them that much less time to come back. So Japan going to throw a corner. I like this. You know, try to get their deuce right away.
Well, there's also a school of thought that they could just throw this into the rings and be quite content to,
if they wanted to blank, absolutely,
to blank it out and take the hammer into the 8th end. But pushing to,
I like this. I think just getting, you know, forced Italy to make a couple of high-skilled shots. You know, they're on for their team. You know, they're, you know, below 50% as a team this game. This is going to come into the rings anyway, but being patient. That strategy's a little bit out the window now with Japan. They're you know, as ends go into the books, Italians will gain confidence.
and also, Mike, yesterday we mentioned that when you are trying to blank an end and you're running it through, then just how important that final stone is in the end. You look like a bit of an idiot if you don't make that hit and roll out to blank the end.
Yeah, we saw that in the Germany-China game, and you know, Bing Yu Wang made her blank in 9, and the hammer paid off in 10 against Andrea Schopp in that opening round matchup, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Okay.
Well, now as we get down to thirds final stones here for Japan, I anticipate it's too late now to throw a guard. They're going to play hit here, and if we get a... Japan will bring play into the rings. I think that's on the rings. Be interesting if she does nose hit this stone to see. You can see some white paint there, but our camera is over the center of the button, so it's not unusual. You can from the angle, you can tell that the rocks aren't. It's hard to tell from that center line, center camera, whether the rocks are in play or not. Be interesting if they nose hit this. If Japan elects to go around, they're gonna have hard pressed to hit it. Wow.
Disaster here from Patono. Huge mistake, and now Japan with a golden opportunity to draw in and lie to here in the 7th end.
And they have to finally take advantage of a miss. Really critical for the Japanese team here in the 7th. How many times, if you're the Italians, can you give up opportunities and not pay the price? Been really impressed with the Japanese. Their touch has been excellent. You know, the sweepers have been on it. They know exactly where the draws have been going. Doing a fine job there, sweeping, and really well done. Good execution again from Funayama. Impressive performance from the front end as well. Swept a lot of draws end to end in this game.
Andiamo dietro l'altra. Sì. Normale? No, controllata. Ok.
Well, for me, this is a kind of end that Japan are looking for at the moment. There's no guards in play. There's a couple of reds in the house. They're wide open, and they're making Italy play takeouts, which they have not been good at in this game.
No, fair enough. But it's going to come down to that final stone from Ogasawara. She needs to hit and stay on her last to score her deuce here, assuming, of course, look at this roll from Zappone. Will she roll far enough? Almost. But it's going to require 2 good shots here from the Japanese skip to score her deuce. When I say good, just solid hit and stays. Nothing earth-shattering, but they've been unable to do so far in this game. Down 1 here, playing 7.
Okay, here's Japan going for the hit and stick to lie to. And they're really having to go to down on this one. And hits and rolls out of the rings, and
there is another missed opportunity. Frustrating for Japan.
Anche se rimaniamo lì va bene. Vado giù normale questa, l'importante è toglierla. Ok?
yeah, just missing the key shots at the moment. Japan look utterly dominant for most of the Yens, and then it's just one shot that makes the whole thing fall down. As my friend Sander once told me, Mike, it only takes one mouse dropping to ruin a whole pot of rice pudding.
I like that line. I like that. He didn't say that on air, though, did he? Did he?
Yeah, yeah, he did. He really caught me off guard with it as well.
Well, another end in the books here for the Italians, and I said that bodes well for their chances here as we go with the last 3 ends. And Japan going to throw this one through.
Well, I would say this is an entirely acceptable result from the end for Japan.
Absolutely, but you know they'll be disappointed. Yeah, overall a great result, but momentum certainly in Italians' favor here as we go into 8.
Well, a blank end in the 7th, and Japan will have the hammer in the 8th. However, they're trailing Italy by 4 shots to 3.
Yes. So what was happening? During I don't know which throw was. Our time clock was running while they were thinking about their throw, and their time starts when the she throw.
Well, a bit of controversy out there in between the ends. Italy just making a just registering a little complaint with the umpires that they weren't entirely happy with some of the clocking that was going on, and that their time clocks were maybe running while Japan was thinking about their shots. But I think the game's been reasonably brisk anyway. I don't think it'll really trouble the Italian team too much.
The Italians have 24 minutes and change left, and Japan has 28. So there's a 4-minute discrepancy. So, but 24 should be plenty to play 3 ends.
Okay, so I think we'll see a more aggressive end here from the Japanese as they go out to try and score here in the 8th end.
They need to get a deuce here, and certainly need to score. Worst case scenario. Steal would be disastrous. Needs to stop. Well done. Good start, corner guard.
A tight guard called here by Zapponi. There's the coaching bench, JD Lind and Fujimiki, as you mentioned. Also got a little look at the clocks.
Yeah, 23 and change for Italy, and that's not a big deal. So there's a mistake from the Italians. That was an attempted center guard, and so now Japan with 2 corner guards and throwing lead stones. This is a wonderful setup for them, and will give them certainly a chance to get some rocks in play.
Well, it looks like Japan have had a little bit of a fly at this one, though. Got a lot of work to do if they're going to stick around here. It all comes down. Will it stick around? Zapponi's just going to persuade that one out of the rings. So, not actually a great spot at the moment for Italy. They've not got anything on the centre line, and there's 2 corner guards which can be used by Italy. Anyway, while Italy work that one out, Here's Anna Kubeshkova for the Czech Republic with her final stone of the 7th end.
It's like a blank attempt.
Trailing by 1 shot, and just needs to pick that red off and roll out to blank. That's going to hit right on the nose.
Really curling in there.
So it will be a score of 1 in the 7th end for Kubeshkova. And after 7 ends, tie game on sheet A, Germany 4, Czech Republic 4.
This was a center guard attempt that's come too deep. Actually got partially buried behind the corner guard. So this will allow Japan to either follow it down, play a tap back, or they can play a freeze perhaps. I like the freeze, I think. You need to score a deuce here. Harder than the freeze. Freeze and roll. We're going to play the freeze and roll here, Logan. Rarely seen. So it looks like they're just going to try to tap it back line, back 8-foot weight. Roll to the left as we're looking at it.
Yeah, this shot more about the line, I would say. They can make a freeze, or they can just tap it a little bit. And I think they want to keep the scoring area reasonably big as well, just to make sure that they do score here in the 8th end.
Oh, we have a hog line violation. See the red flashing light on the stone.
Well, I think that's the first time we've seen that this week, Mike.
Definitely.
And that's a
there
huge
are
mistake.
Magnetic sensors underneath on the handle. See, it's kind of a metallic finish on the handle, and just short of the hog line, there's a little white strip that is a magnetic sensor that's sends a signal to the stone, and if you're touching that handle as you cross the hog line, the stone is removed from play. So we'll see how critical that proves to be here in this 8th end. And there's a nice come around. Again, in front of the tee line, that's the key. And I think we're seeing Gasawara losing a little patience here, maybe rattled a bit. You know, there's plenty of room to come by, play a tap, play a freeze. The come around missed the guard by a good foot, and first example, I think, in this game where we've seen a little frustration here from the Japanese skip.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of options on that out-turn draw. And picks one of them off, but not really the right one there.
Yeah, would love to have moved the top one away. And the problem is the shooter stayed there as well, so now Japanese team in a bit of trouble. And can Italy close the door here? This isn't a guard attempt. They're talking in the rings.
Looks like it's running on a little bit. They're just going to stick it right alongside this Yellowstone. And right back to exactly the same spot as before.
Just crazy. Wow. Just crazy, you know, the execution from the sweeper saying it's at top 12. The guard attempt, you know, 10, 12 feet deep, and you know, again, if you're Japan, how frustrating is that? How patient can you stay as this game moves into the 8th end? They really need one solid shot here from Funayama. Need either a double or a hit and stay. Put some pressure here on the Italians, open things up a bit. This can stay behind this corner guard somewhere. Needs to stay in the rings, however. And just rolling too far again.
Oh, a lot of half shots getting made here by Japan.
I'm frustrated for them. It's one of those games you watch, and it very rarely happens like this where statistically a team is so dominant and they're trailing on the scoreboard.
So Patono looking for something in the front ring this time. And looking a little bit hot again. Oh, again, just plonks it right next to that Yellowstone.
You know, as I said, execution is, you know, it's really not a question of that anymore. We understand that the Japanese are playing better at this point of the game. It's now comes down to patience and taking advantage of mistakes and all these little things that, you know, an experienced team will be better at than an inexperienced team, but, you know, not getting too frustrated. It's tough. It's tough. It's hard mentally for the Japanese team right now to stay in this game.
Well, this one over curling for the top one, but might still find a reasonable spot. Good enough to lie second shot here in the 8th.
It's not a great spot, though. You know, the Italians can come down and put one in the pocket, and scoring area becomes very tight. Timeout being called for here.
Very clear sign. Very clear.
We'll see what Bjorn has to say to the ladies here.
O mi metto lì, è il primo istinto che mi è venuto.
Solo che io ho detto che lì rischi di fargli quella culla se non ti viene bene. E se loro si mettono un lato di più, non lo so. Cioè io pensavo anche di mettere tipo un 4 lì davanti, 5, però non so. Lei dice che viene la doppia.
Non mi piace perché c'è perfetto, è vero che la deve fare.
Here comes Bjorn onto the ice, making the slow stroll. Time doesn't come back in until he reaches the team, starts communicating with them.
I think Bjorn actually has the longest stride in world curling.
He's a tall man, for sure.
So a good look at it there.
Oh, my first instinct was to freeze the red one.
Yeah.
Right in the middle between the red, the yellow and the red.
Not a 5.
No, no. If you go on the yellow and you roll a little bit to the red, that's fine. So, but the freeze is perfect. Also, 1 meter short is perfect, you know. Or if it's somewhere in the blue, middle of the white, or tap the yellow a little bit, just a little bit, not too much, and then freeze on the red. The freeze on the red is the correct.
Okay.
So, okay?
Okay.
Va bene?
Yes. Look at me.
Well, clear instruction there from Bjorn Schroeder. He wants a freeze.
Well, what he's saying also, the line is important, right? So anything in line with the yellow-red pocket is a good shot, and he's correct.
So I think really Italy were just looking for a little bit of reassurance. It wasn't they were in such a pickle. They just wanted to know this is the right shot. They obviously know that this is an important moment in the match as well.
Se potete aspettate la linea, se dovete tirarla, al massimo stai tu vicino, così gira. Va bene?
70-75.
Yeah, and the Italian stats are creeping up as well. We saw them down at 39% at half-time. They're managing to bring it up now, and they're up to 51. So they're playing some decent stuff
playing
here.
in the 70s the second half of this game, right? Which is great. So the freeze is the call here. What they cannot afford to do is have this rock not curl enough. This looks heavy, and it certainly needs to curl. This might leave a double opportunity here for Japan. So the mistake made being heavy. So Japan actually has a chance here to nose hit this, and they could possibly have that middle yellow spin far enough to lie two. Again, it certainly need to hit and stay, really important. Will that middle stone spin out of the 4-foot area is the question. Looks like it will. And with the nose hit, it'll be close. Certainly get rid of 2 yellows, which, you know, adds some pressure to the Italians again. Ogasawara needs to take advantage of this mistake. Just has failed to do so on numerous occasions in this game. Big shot. Nose or just a hair to the broom side. Get all 3 yellows moving. The middle one won't go out of the rings, but as I said, hopefully if you're Japan, it spins out of the forefoot and you have a chance to lie 2. Even a nose hit's pretty good, I think, Logan. It makes things tricky for the Italians, even if you don't lie 2. Lie first and third.
Oh, absolutely. And we've seen the stones being really quite springy this week. They really bounce when they connect. So maybe they can get all 3 of these yellows moving.
Just has to stay.
Well, I actually finds
not a bad result. Does leave a double, however, for the Italians. It's a pretty good result. They are shot stone. That middle yellow doesn't go very far. Interesting for Italy that it looks like that red double is keyed up pretty nicely to go around everything, but the call here is a freeze from Zappone. I'm not sure where she's trying to freeze to, the inside edge of that red stone perhaps, but again, the same problem for her. If she ends up spinning off shot stone, she'll leave a double for 3. This team does not like to hit.
Proviamo a attaccarci. Sì, è loro.
È loro?
Se riusciamo a metterci bene magari riusciamo a prendere il punto. Comunque deve essere un 6. Va bene? Mi sono data meno ghiaccio. È uno solo comunque.
Okay, so a tough shot once again here. Zappone. You'd see a lot of teams throw a heater down at those 2 red stones and spring them out of play, but
I don't think heater's in their equation.
No.
In their vocabulary even with this Italian team. So this is going to come up very short. Chance for a draw for 2 here for Japan. They could actually, if they decide to draw down towards their own, they could actually get 3. They just have to move that yellow stone an inch or 2, but certainly they'd be thrilled with the deuce here at this point.
Noi con un 80 arriviamo a Milano.
so final stone of the 8th end. Ogasawara needs to find a good piece into the 4-foot circle to score 2. Already lying 1 here.
Sweepers haven't even looked up. They're going hard. It's not heavy.
Well, it doesn't look too far away. Can they drag it down there?
Great sweeping. Great sweeping from the Japanese front end again. And finally, they take the lead in this game.
Ogasawara makes the draw and converts the deuce. Puts it on the board. A score of 2 in the 8th end. And Japan leading Italy by 5 shots to 4. Japanese skip Ayumi Ogasawara making a super draw to the forefoot, throwing it to the sweepers, and they just drag that one right down there onto the tee line to score 2 in 8th end and take the lead over Italy. But still, Italy very much in the equation, Mike.
Absolutely. 1 down playing 9, and certainly going to have an opportunity late in this game to win.
So there's the matchup at lead. Tomobechi only playing 64%, but still outplaying Lozano at 50. Well, a good corner guard.
Yeah, game is on here, and Japan correctly throwing the guard. Here's some sweeping last end. Onodera and Tomobechi really been working hard this entire game. Get it there.
Yeah, they really went coast to coast on that one and got their reward with a score of 2. Interesting to see Japan going into the house with their first stone at the end here, Mike.
Yeah, they could have thrown the guard for sure. Again, I think they're anticipating that Italians would throw a corner guard, but it's a bit of a risk. The Italians certainly could have hit that stone and tried to blank, but again, knowing the strength of this Italian team, I think is the draw game. I know, is Zapponi reluctant to try to peel at the end, or probably a bit of combination of both. We're trying to find a way to get a deuce right here in the 9th end, along with knowing they'd prefer to play draws.
Okay, so it looks like it could be a quiet weight takeout here. Saw a lot of misses around this kind of spot in the first few ends. Didn't look like a great deal of ice. Just chipping the corner guard and the centre guard and rolling to a corner might not be a bad result here for the Italians.
She left to center though, however, that's so I'll go out on a limb here and say we're not going to blank the 9th end. I'm gonna throw that out there. Any takers?
Yeah, I think I'll go with you on that one. Well, actually, they've pushed that red centre guard into quite a useful position for the Italians. If they were ever to get the play going around that corner guard, it's in quite a nice position for a freeze. The hardest shot in curling.
They've all looked pretty hard today. Yeah. Logan, just in some of the shots we've been seeing, but
yeah, I don't think we've seen either of these teams playing at their absolute peak of their performance. But a nice centre guard going on here from Japan, and Italy under pressure here in the 9th end. Well, Italy did have the chance to try and run this 9th end through. They just throw the corner guard. Broncino up to 48%, improving all the time, and maybe almost just some
tripled her stats from the 3rd end. There you go.
Just some early game nerves. The risk always is by throwing the corner guard in the 9th end when you're 1 down is that you're risking getting forced, and then you're really putting yourself in a tough spot coming home.
Well, there's 2 disastrous misses from the Italian front end. First, the attempted tap back where they left the center guard, and now the run back attempt leaving the center guard again. So Japan can throw either another one in the rings or a 3rd guard on that stone top button. I like the 3rd guard, knowing the Italians' ability to play double peels is limited. They're a long way from getting at that stone at the top of the button. Just discussing which turn to play, I think.
Well, Japan agrees with you, Mike.
You know, it's one of those things where they've been waiting and waiting and waiting for an opportunity like this, with a rock in a perfect position. They've got a double guard on it. Try to figure out a way to. So look, judging by that shot, the out turn is coming. There it is.
And gets that one off before the hog line. See the green light come on that time.
Perfect guard. It's a tough double peel. The reason being that to actually make the double on the two rocks that are there, you almost have to nose hit it, and which will leave the guard in play again. So tricky little shot here.
Yeah, I think ideally they'd like to peel the two reds here and maybe even run it through
onto
onto the back one. So Broncino throwing the big weight again here.
Relatively, yes.
It's not quite got a vapor trail, but
no. And there's the double on the top two, leaves the center guard again. That was the challenge for the Italians, always was going to be. So Japan now changing gears. They're going around this high yellow guard and try to get this into the button. The risk, of course, here is that you end up touching the yellow guard on the way by. So no need to take any unnecessary chances. Make sure you get by the guard by a good 6 inches to a foot, and the rock should finish in there nicely. Not sure I love this call.
Certainly not short of rotation, this stone.
No. Changing plans here. They're going, knowing it's not going to curl enough. They're going deep with this. Don't want to set up a double. Sweeper's got to get this behind the tee line. Well swept again. Been impressed with this Japanese front end. They're really, really good, solid sweepers.
Yeah, and you've been doing a little bit of work on sweeping, Mike, doing a bit of research.
Yeah, we've got I've got an electronic broom, been measuring sweeping power and speed down in Champery, and said worked with a couple of teams that are here. You know, the Latvian women's team has been down to see me, and got a bunch of samples during the Masters, including from your team. Do you want me to tell you that your sweeping technique, Logan, was one of the best we had, one of the best results we had? I think that was skips. Front enders are going to not be happy when I say this, but a lot of our skips actually have great technique. I think maybe due to partially we're lazy, and we want to make sure that we're as efficient as possible, Logan, while we're sweeping, right?
Yeah, I think that might be it. And I think the results just showed that, unfortunately, not one person can do everything in the curling team.
Your teammates will be happy to hear that. So again, another unlucky break there from the Italian. Trying to double peel. They jammed the stone, left the guard. So again, chance here for Team Japan to put a second guard on the stone top button. And they definitely want this to stop short of the rings. And it's going to come in now. They may as well get a piece of it buried, do not leave a double. Again, that's pretty darn good result as well.
Yeah,
forcing the run back.
Don't think they could have placed that any better, really.
Yeah. I think I like the guard a little better. I mean, short of the rings, but that's certainly a good plan B. And again, Funayama dominating Patono. Every position. And I said to only be one up here playing 9. Just shows you how statistics can be deceiving sometimes. I always said to my team, he said, if I curl 50%, as long as it's the last rock of each end, you'd be happy, you know. And this is a good example of this today, where, you know, the Italian skip, Zapponi's made a couple of really nice shots to keep her team in games, and conversely, Japan has struggled a bit on their final stone. So, but Zapponi's going to have a pretty tough shot here to score.
Anyway, over on sheet A, tied game, Germany and the Czech Republic, and Germany with a super opportunity to get their first win on the board here. If Andrea Schopp can pull out a beauty here.
I think they're already lying 3, I believe.
Yeah, that's definitely the kind of shot you're looking for in the 8th end.
That's the other thing I said to my team. Free draws for 4 and guards. That's all I want to throw, right? And this is Andrea taking full advantage here, and she will make her draw for 4.
Yeah, and this is an important win already. Or certainly looking like a win for Germany, losing out last night to China, and Czech Republic getting off to a winning start. Pushkova just having a little look at who's lying shot, but it's a score of 4 in the 8th end, and Germany leading Czech Republic by 8 shots to 4.
So we're getting down to skip stones here, and that stone top button. And I've talked about this a lot in other broadcasts, but you look, if your lead can control the top of the forefoot, it really makes your life easy as a skip. And we saw it yesterday. The Chinese lead played so well in that matchup versus Shop early in the game, and continued to throw rocks in front of the tee line into the forefoot area. Yan Shu, this might be a triple opportunity here for Zapponi. She really needs to throw this pretty hard, though. Even if she makes the triple, she's still going to leave Japan lying at least 2. So she will be forced to score here in 9. So a little mistake there from the Japanese skip. Again, a missed opportunity. Throw that rock 3 feet short of the rings. Zapponi's in huge trouble.
Well, I just wonder if Italy are trying to hit this on the correct side here to make them all go.
It's one of those things, though. If you see a Kevin Martin or a David Murdoch throw, hit half that red stone on the outside, you could actually get all 5 reds moving at once. It's certainly potential, but I don't anticipate Zapponi can throw it hard enough to do that. But I'd be interested to see if she hits us a little on the outside, see what happens with all these angles. Certainly going to get a few reds moving. A little wide. This needs to curl. I said they're all moving. They would have got them all moving. Kevin Martin would have had a chance to get them all going up there.
Hit it
That's the exact angle.
Spot.
That's the exact angle to get them all going. But she has given herself an opportunity, which is the nice thing. That red stone, however, the one that's at the top 12 foot, just left of center line, could prove to be a problem for her. If Japan can replace the stone, here's a good look at it again. Hit it on that angle. Just imagine all those rocks going faster, getting them all moving. I think you would have had a chance to see 3 or 4 rocks removed from play here, but just didn't have the firepower to do that.
Yeah, I think the old bear would have been licking his chops at that one.
Yeah. Certainly would have simplified things, that's for sure. But again, Ogasawara looking to replace the stone right at the top 12 foot, and the out-turn draw to the button, because of where that red guard is, just off the center line, is not available. Certainly is difficult anyway. They want to guard the back stone. I think that stone in the back forefoot's going to stay open. Definitely open on the out-turn side.
Well, maybe a chance here for Italy to be a bit more aggressive.
Well, it's one of those shots, it's simple hit. It is against 4, however, and
see 20% between the two skips. At every single possession, Japan are outplaying Italy by a minimum of 14%.
Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable that the game is as close as it is, but this shot is to tie the game, and tie 50-50 coming home, I'd say, the way this game is panned out so far. So, but, again, not a hard shot for Zappone, but certainly critically important. Has to stay. Otherwise, they'll be down 3 or 4 playing the last.
Well, choosing to play the takeout here, facing 5 red Japanese counters. Looking pretty good.
She's got it. Well done.
Hits it right on the beat can, keeps this game alive. It's going to be a tied game coming home somehow. And after 9 ends, it's Japan 5, Italy 5.
Allora sì, un 4 secondi. Scusa, ho capito niente.
Well, down to this. Lozano needs to make guards.
If you have just joined us, welcome to the World Curling Federation Olympic qualification event. Coming to you live from the BLZ Arena in Füssen, Germany. My name's Logan Crane. I'm joined by 1998 Olympic silver medalist Mike Harris. And our featured game here in the women's draw 2 is Japan and Italy. And we're surprised it's really got to this stage, Mike.
Yes, and in main reason being, you said Japan has played statistically so much better than the Italians have, but it's been that key shot making that's been lacking for Team Japan, and a couple of early breaks for Team Italy certainly helped their cause. Tick shot being attempted here. Looks perfect. The yellow zone's not allowed to be removed from play entirely, but can be moved, and that is absolutely perfect. Could not have played that any better.
Nice.
Thank you, she says. That was great shot there from Tomabecci. But you know, just to go back to the statistical difference between these two teams. He said if you're Italy, you're feeling pretty confident. You're happy that you're still in this game. If you're Japan, it's been a test of patience. But Japan's worked very hard, got their deuce in 8. They now have the hammer coming home. And you know, if you started the game before we started, I think if you told them you're going to be tied with coming home, they would have been pretty happy. So it's just a question of mind over matter in this case. Really trying to stay mentally tough.
Oh, absolutely. And as long as the Japanese do put a win on the board, I think they'll know that overall their shot making has been reasonably good. They'll just want to tighten up on a few shots here and there. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day whether you win by an inch or a mile.
Second tick attempt, and this looks good as well. Two great shots there from the Japanese lead. Even though that rock's in the rings, that should not have a bearing on whether Japan wins or loses this game. So wonderful start to the end, and Michiko will be pretty pleased with those two shots, I would say, as will her skip.
Yeah, absolutely. It's how much of a boost is it for you as the skip when you've got a lead that can do that, Mike?
Well, I think, you know, talking with my ex-teammate Richard Hard, who played with Glenn Howard, of course, and they won the World Championship, said, you know, leads, you can win the game with lead stones if you make two good tick shots, and that's one of the things, it's one of the skills now that all the best teams in the world have. And interesting, you know, we saw last year at the World Championships in Riga, Team Canada lead. There's a handshakes. Germany stealing another one there in 9 and get their first win.
Yeah, that's a final there, and Germany defeating Czech Republic by 9 shots to 4. Both of these teams will move to 1 win and 1 loss after 2 draws.
And so I was just saying the you know, Lisa Weigel lead for Rachel Holman. They played the tick shot every end. They without last rock, they'll go up and try to move those guards out of play, and it's a shot they practice. And really, they've kind of changed the way we look at that tick shot, and just playing it all the time. So, but good shot there from Japanese second Onodera.
Yeah, I think for a long time the tick shot was a shot that is just kind of, well, it'd be nice if we kind of made it, but we don't really expect you to make it.
We never practice it. You know, it was one of when the free guard zone first started. It was okay. Well, we're up in this game. Let's try that tick shot. Just how difficult it is. But you know, Leeds now we're practicing it all the time, and it's much more routine than it used to be, certainly. Guard could have been a little deeper. There's another final over on sheet C.
Yeah, Norway finishing off Latvia and taking a 7-4 victory. And Norway get their first win on the board to join Latvia on 1-1. No, that's maybe wrong.
No, 1-1. They're both 1-1.
Yeah, they're both 1-1 as well. So we expected the women to be wide open, and it's certainly proving that way even after just a couple of draws.
Japan would love to make this peel and get rid of that stone in the side of the 12th. But the danger, the risk, of course, is as you drive that stone over towards the one in the rings, you hit half a stone and it rolls back towards the forefoot. So there is some risk in trying to double the 2 yellows off.
Yeah, well, actually, at the Europeans, we saw Latvian skip Rutvar Gulbis do something like that. He hit it onto the wide one and spun it right onto the top of the button. Yeah. All of a sudden, he was
in trouble.
Playing against 2 in the forefoot, 2 up coming down the last. So
it happens more often than you'd think. There's a mistake. This is a guard attempt. They're saying quattro, which is top 12. That's, I think, they're hoping it's going to stop top 12. And you can see she's not happy. I think if you're Japan, I think you're tempted to keep playing the forefoot. I would actually prefer just to roll out to the side of the 8-foot. There's the Japanese men's team. I don't like rolling into the forefoot area, in the button area. Perfect. Love that shot. Roll out to the side of the 8-foot. Italy's got to think about throwing another guard. They're going to play a freeze.
Stop. 9, 8. Portiamo un pelo indietro, ma in realtà
the Japanese boys getting their first win on the board this week, defeating France this morning.
No, as we say, the women's field is wide open. I think we discussed it last night. I mean, in my opinion, the Chinese women are pretty heavy favorites on the women's side, but in the men, I mean, you're hard pressed to figure out who's going to win that.
I think you're hard pushed to even decide who's going to win any one game.
Absolutely,
they're that even. It could go either way at any point. There is no gimmies in the men's draw.
And here is another miss from the Italians, and this goes through the rings. Japan can hit this rock that's at the top 12-foot, and they are free and clear here as we get down to skip stones. So, you know, again, finally, the statistics are starting to pay off a little bit for Japan here in the 10th end. But it certainly took a while.
Calling for the sweep in there before the stone even passed the first tee line, I think.
I've done that. I've done that before. Both from both ends, either calling the sweeping or being the one that's being yelled at before I've let a rock go yet. So again, Italy's got to make a bit of a decision here. I kind of like hitting and staying on that one. They're clearly playing the peel, but if a decent freeze is made from the Italians, it would have been nice to have a kicker somewhere around the wings.
Yeah, reminder that Japan do need to score here in the 10th end.
Yeah, up 1, I don't. Yeah, peeling obviously is different, but if the opponent can make a decent freeze, get it kind of keyed up on the inside, it's pretty easy to blast everything out, but your shooter is going to roll out as well. But regardless, they need to make the freeze. This is 2 attempts so far. Although, you know, his opponents had pretty good control of draw weight this game. At times.
Se lei fa saltare solo la mia, io mi attacco e prendo punto.
Provo un 70.
Comunque deve essere almeno un freeze, per cui sì. Quella lì è T-line.
There's our timer again. We're looking for, again, around 14 seconds. 13.9, something like that. Would be close. 14.1, so that's close. 0.2 of a second.
Looking really good line here.
Just
Bumps
perfect.
it a little bit, but a nice shot.
There is some separation, though. To really make an effective freeze here in the 10th end with only one rocket play, you have to be almost perfectly on the nose and the center of the stone, and the weight has to be perfect as well. If I could choose here, I think I'd like a nose hit. Keep that stone in front of the tee line. Key, of course, is you have to just make sure you remove it. But again, Gasawara 78% on her 9 hits. One notable miss, she had a hit for 4 in the 5th end and only ended up getting 1.
So probably just looking for a clean pick, or even just a nose hit would be really nice.
I'd love the nose hit, but or that even better. Look at that, perfect shot! Wow.
Yeah, just moves those stones away from.
Get it out of the 4-foot area. So even if there is a perfect freeze made here from the Italians, now they have the entire 8-foot to draw to, and we've seen how good the sweeping is from this young Japanese front end. And perfect draw for 2 was made in the 8th end, right to the 4-foot by Ogasawara. So she has control of draw weight. I think secretly she's hoping for an open hit, though. Logan on her last.
Yeah, that would be really nice. That's the one you're looking for.
Yeah, don't be that close on the freeze. But if if a good freeze is made here from Zappone, the Japanese team would feel pretty confident they could draw the 8-foot.
So Zappone playing a pretty miserable 53% for her draws in this game, but needs a good one here.
Looks close, actually. Lines in the ballpark. The weight seems pretty close. Wonderful shot coming here. Great shot. Very nice. Pretty easy to be removed, though, however, and pretty good attempt. So after all these trials and tribulations in this game, from a mental standpoint, this has been difficult mentally on Team Japan. This is a pretty simple shot to win this game finally. Got to be pretty happy. Ogasawara with her last shot.
They can hit this Yellowstone pretty much anywhere and win this game. Super
nice
shot.
Solid 10th end from Team Japan. 8 good shots.
Yeah, a deserved win for Japan, and I think a sigh of relief probably.
So the Italians hung in there, but some smiles of joy and relief there from Team Japan and their entourage.
Where? Oh, here. Thank you. どういたしまして。ビットシェン。よかったよ、誰と最後。
Not official till you sign the document, but win in the books for Team Japan now. The key turning point of the match here in the 8th end after being down one surprisingly through this game. Finally in the 8th end, Japan has a chance to get the lead. Lovely draw for 2. Japanese skip Ogasawara. 9th end, again a solid end finally from Japan as well, and again hit against 4 here for Zappone to tie this game up, and under pressure she does come through with a nice hit, ties the game up 5-5 going into the last, but 2 perfect tick shots from Japanese lead Tomobechi open things up, and it was a very simple end here for Team Japan all the way through, and wide open hit for 2 points and a 7-5 victory. A well-earned win for Team Japan here in round 2. And as we update the other matches, Germany, big 4-ender in the 8th to take them to victory over the Czech Republic, and Norway stole 2 in the 8th end, turning point in that match against Latvia to secure their first victory in this round robin. And here's our standings in the World Curling Federation Olympic qualification event. China and Japan both off to 1-0 starts. Both of them have already had their byes, and the rest of the field 1-1 except for Italy, who are struggling at 0-2 so far.
Ayumi, congratulations on your win. How does it feel to win your first game?
Thank you. We are so happy for our result, this result.
Did you feel like your team played well today?
Yes, sometimes good, sometimes bad, so we can play more better, but it's okay. The important is to win. So
Italy missed a lot of shots today. How difficult was it to be patient?
Yes, that's right.
Do you feel confident?
Yes, of course. It's important is mental. So we talk always good. We have to have passion, and good mental for.
It's very important to be positive. Congratulations on your win and good luck for the week. Thanks.